Good evening, everyone. Can you see my screen?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you. So yesterday we had discussed about the meaning of distinctive competency, and we had also discussed about the features of distinctive competency. So today, one topic which was remaining that we will be taking first, and then we will move on to the next one, that is benchmarking. So in yesterday's session, we had also completed our video framework or video analysis, so that we had discussed all the four factors of that video that we had discussed in detail, that is value, rarity, immutability, and organization. In detail we had discussed. So now we will be discussing that how this video framework is actually implemented in the organization. So yesterday we could not take up that, so first we will be taking up that, and then we will be moving to the next topic. So video analysis for strategic planning. So first, how it is implemented, that we will be discussing. First is, the first step the organization has to follow is define your resources and capabilities. That what resources you are having. Resources, yesterday also I had told you that whenever resources is included in strategic management, and when only resources are mentioned, it includes all the resources. It includes monetary resources, it includes the human resources, it includes the raw material, machines, everything, all the resources. So for video analysis, first thing we have to do is that we need to define our resources. So define your resources and capabilities. That what are your resources and what are your capabilities. So that first we need to analyze, that we need to calculate, or we need to understand. That is the first stage. Next one is categorize your resources. Now when we are talking about resources, all the resources we have seen, and in step number 2, when we are talking about categorize your resources, below that it is written, take each resources through video framework. Each resource, that means monetary resource, machines, or your raw materials, or human resource, from these four parameters, that is valuable, rare, inimitable, and organized. So that we will be discussing. First one, competitive parity. Now valuable means that how your employees are valuable. That means that what type of talent you are having. Every organization, earlier it was thought that because of technology the organization is doing progress, because of strategy the organization is doing progress, because of machines the organization is making progress. But later on it was realized that the human beings, the human capital, the employees of the organization who are working behind this technology, machine, or resources are the main pillars for the organization. And that's the reason why nowadays it is called as talent management. So what talent you are having, that we need to first analyze. Every company now is aware that the growth or success of our company, the most important point or the most important factor is what type of talent we are having. If you take example of, say, the companies like Tesla or SpaceX or Microsoft or IBM, and if you check on the videos or the articles written by the CEO of these companies, all the important companies, you will come across one very common highlighting point. And that common highlighted point by all the CEOs or all the founders or all the owners is the success is because of the talent they are able to procure. So the most important, it is important than money, it is important than machine, it is important than any other technology. Because who is controlling or who is using all these resources or technology? Ultimately, it is human being. So they should be the best. Then only we can expect that the output of these people will be best, employees will be best. So all these top industrialists, one thing very common which they always say is that our success is because we are able to attract the best people available from the market. So when we are talking about competitive parity, we need to understand, or we need to first analyze what are the capabilities of our employees and what are the capabilities of our competitors. That analysis we should be doing. The moment we come to know that the competitor is able to attract better people, that means we need to concentrate on a strategy which can attract far better people than the competitor to our organization. So that is why we have to calculate or analyze all the resources through each and every factor. Now, when we talk about rare temporary competitive advantage, now rare, yesterday also we had discussed that the biggest threat to the AI companies nowadays, because AI is upcoming, we all are aware that how the uh, top companies of the world, how they are investing in AI, because everyone is aware that it is the future. But recently, all the top tech companies, they are saying that the maintenance cost of AI models is very high, and it is not possible for the company to, as and when they feel that the maintenance cost is increasing, it is not easier for them to increase the price of the product or price of their services. And the reason is because of competition. And the most important competition is from the Chinese companies. Yesterday also we had discussed an example that how Chat GPT has invested millions of dollars in coming up with that Chat GPT module. And immediately, within a very short span of time, the Chinese companies came up with DeepSeek. And when we calculate, when we check that how much investment Chinese have made in coming up with DeepSeek, and how much investment ChatGPT has made or Grok has made in coming up with their new versions. So the difference is too much. So Chinese companies, as they are investing less, they are able to market their product or services at a cheaper price than the Western companies. Why? Because Western companies are investing more. It is not possible for them. It is not at all feasible for these companies. So that's the reason when we talk about rare, nothing or very few items are rare. Very few. Yesterday we had discussed, then when we were discussing about immutability, at that particular time we had discussed that how a small country or Taiwan is able to control the chip market. Now chips are used in batteries, chips are used in electronic products, they are used in bikes, they are used in cars, they are used in planes, they are used in computers, they are used in laptops. So the semiconductor factory is controlled by the Taiwan. They have achieved that say expertise. So now for other companies it is difficult to imitate, but the examples are very less. The moment Tesla introduced electric car and it was realized that the car is doing good, all the other companies, all the other automobile companies around the world, they started coming up with their version of electric car. So that rare advantage for Tesla was very short term. It was not for a very longer period of time. So that's the reason why when we are aware that there is a temporary competitive advantage is that your company has introduced a new product or you have come up with a new service. So till the competitors also join you in the market, you can enjoy that monopoly or enjoy that top position. But the moment competition increases, your position also starts coming down. That's the reason why it is said that rare, rare is that we need to analyze that if the competitors start manufacturing the same product which we have introduced, how we can be at the top in that sector in spite of competition. Again, that we need to do, we need to analyze here in under the factor called rare. Inimitable. Now inimitable is unused competitive advantage. So that we had discussed that if we are able to come up with a product which is very difficult to copy, imitate, then of course we can um, uh, enjoy the top position in that particular sector for a longer period of time. Yesterday also we had discussed the examples of say um, Bugatti or the other luxury car makers or Louis Vuitton. So it is difficult to imitate. Why it is difficult to imitate? Because every time they are coming up with a better version. So the Taiwanese company has not stopped that okay, we have come up with a achievement, that we have say attained the expertise in terms of nanotechnology, in terms of semiconductor or chip making skills. So we will be relaxed for next 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, or 5 years, because we are aware that it is a very difficult technology. If any competitor has to enter in this field, it will at least take 3, 4, 5 years for us to face that competitor. So till 5 years we can relax. So instead of relaxing, what the company is doing, every now and then they are coming up with some new feature in that particular technology, that how we can make improvements in the existing nanotechnology, in the existing chip industry, how we can make the chip smaller as well as better, how we can see to it that with a very small size the performance can be better than the previous larger chip. So that type of technology they are doing every now and then, they are coming up with. And that's the reason why it is difficult for other companies to compete with the that particular company. uh, Next one is organized. When we talk about organized, it is sustained competitive advantage. Sustained competitive advantage means when you are sustaining your competitive advantage. Sustaining your competitive advantage, you are enjoying the advantage ahead of your competitors for say 5 years, 6 years, 10 years, or maybe more than that. Then it will be called as sustained competitive advantage. Now, how you are able to enjoy that sustained competitive advantage? By making your product valuable, by making your product rare, by making your product difficult to imitate. So, with the help of this, the organization is able to be on the top of that particular sector for a longer period of time. Now, for example, there is a company in America which is, say, manufacturing defense equipments, which includes missiles, which includes fighter planes, which includes drones, and many more, all defense related items. Name of the company is Lockheed Martin. Every one of you are aware of what is Lockheed Martin. It is one of the top company in the defense sector, which is manufacturing various defense equipment. Now, this particular organization, what they are doing is that they are investing millions of dollars in doing the R&D of how they can improvise on the existing equipments. Now, why they are investing millions of dollars in R&D when they are at the top of the world for last so many years? For last so many years, they are on the top. So they should be relaxed. But instead of feeling relaxed, what they are doing continuously, they are investing in R&D. That how now they have come up with a sixth generation fighter plane. Only few countries are having sixth generation fighter plane. Even we are not having sixth generation fighter plane because the fighter planes we are say importing fighter planes from the other countries. The inbuilt fighter plane, that is Tejas, is not sixth generation fighter plane. It is fourth generation or 4.5, we can say, generation fighter plane. That is how Lockheed Martin or that type of companies, they are enjoying the top position in the market for so longer period of time, because they are not stopping in making. Always they are trying to make improvement, and after coming up with sixth generation fighter plane, they are not going to stop. They are going to come up with better version from the sixth generation fighter plane. They are going to come up with a better drone than the existing drone. So continuously they are, and so that then because of this fact, the other defense manufacturing companies, they are unable to give them a very tough competition, or they are unable to topple them from that top position of the world. The moment Lockheed Martin decides that, okay, we will be relaxed for 5 years, we will not be putting in our millions of dollars in R&D, no improvement is required because all the competitors are far behind. So let's relax. And then when we will realize now the competitors are catching up on us, then we will start investing again, and we will again go ahead of our competitors. So they are not thinking in that way. So Virio analysis says that we have to see to it that our product, our services, or our all the resources should be analyzed from these four point of views. Next one that we have already discussed, that each analyze each resources, look for ways to elevate resources from lower categories to higher one. How we can make our employees more productive, how we can make the the quality of our product better, how we can minimize the wastages during the manufacturing process, how we can minimize the rejections out of the manufacturing process, how we can increase the sales of our product, how we can improve our marketing strategies. And that is what happens under step number 3, which talks about analyze each resource, and then develop, and finally develop a strategic plan on that basis. So under that, what happens is align resources with a strategic plan to optimize their impact and transform them into sustainable advantage. So sustainable advantage, I have already told you that your company is enjoying the top position. When your company decides that we want to be at the top for many more years to come, every year your company is top. So that is that is called as sustainable advantage. So that was related to video analysis for strategic planning. I hope my voice is clear to all. Am I audible?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. And you can see my screen also.
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you. Under core competencies also, we had missed one topic, because yesterday the screen was not visible to all. I think this topic we have not covered. That is type of core competencies. Generally, there are three type of core competencies that we will be taking up for discussion in today's session, and then we will move on to the next topic called benchmarking. Now, first is technical, second one is functional, and the third one is adaptive. So first one is technical, which encompasses specialized technical knowledge specific to a particular industry or profession. So technical knowledge. Now people from engineering background, they are having, say, technical knowledge in computer, technical knowledge in say mechanical, technical knowledge in electrical, technical knowledge in electronics. So they have that expertise in that particular knowledge, and because of that expertise, because of that their that becomes their core competence, and because of that they get say high paying jobs. So core competency, if you are having a technical core competency, now technical means when you are having a technical related skill, like just I have given you example, uh, the mechanical skill, or electronic related skill, or coding related skill, or programming related skill. So that skill will be called as technical skill. So it encompasses specialized technical knowledge, specialized. So if I have done, say, bcom mba, and the other person has done electrical engineering and then he completed his MBA. Now, if we are working in a company which manufactures electric equipments, then that particular person who is having sound knowledge related to electrical appliances, related to the functioning of electrical appliances, is having a better chance for the growth in the organization compared to the other person who doesn't have that technical skills. So many times, because of your technical skills, you get a very good job. So that is technical skills. Next is functional skills. Functional skills, it talks about, it comprises of the knowledge needed for specific functional areas or roles. Functional areas like planning, like designing, like organizing, like recruiting, like leadership, all these are covered under the functional competencies. Now, many times we see that people are having great skills, communication skills. Sometimes we see that some people are having great communication skills, and because of the skills, that becomes their core competency, and because of that they succeed in that particular area. Nowadays we have seen that number of online teachers are, say, they are doing very really good. Many teachers are there. You take example of Khan sir, you take example of physics wala, you take example of say for UPSC MPSC, it is uh, Dr. Divyakirti. So many teachers are there who are able to attract students not in 100 numbers or not in 1,000 numbers, but they are able to attract students in lakhs. Now, how they are able to attract students in lakhs, and why other teacher? Now, one teacher, for example, one teacher like Khan sir, like Divya Kirti sir, or like the physics wala, why they are able to attract lakhs of students, and why the other teachers are unable to attract students? Because they have expertise in that particular skill, communication skill, teaching skill, convincing skill. So they have developed it a lot, that the moment they start speaking, the student get attracted towards them. And that is an example for functional competencies. Next one is adaptive competency, that is broad qualities that enable individual and organization to navigate change, learn, and adapt. As the name itself says, adaptive. Sometimes we say that leaders are born, and in adaptive what happens is that a person may not be very good, but after learning, he may become or she may become the best in the organization. Number of examples are there. A average student, backbencher student, when he or she joins the organization, and when he starts learning things in the organization, sometimes it happens that that backbencher student or that very average or below average student can become the CEO also of the organization. So earlier the person was not having skills, but by observing the other people, by learning from other people, by learning from various training and development program conducted by the organization, the person is learn so much that he may uh, outperform the skilled people, those who are technically very skilled. So that is called as adaptive. Adaptive is when you are open for change, when you are open to learn. Now, the moment I decide that I have completed my PhD, I have completed my NET examination, so I have learned everything. No need for further learning. The moment that strikes in my mind, that is the decline of my growth. And the other person may not be PhD, may not have qualified NET, but the other person is ready to learn. He is learning new theories, new concept, new business environment, new strategies, how they are designed, how they are implemented in the organization. So that person is definitely going to be more successful than me, because on theoretical part I may be say my qualification may be more powerful, but when actual performance is checked in the organization, the other person who is not very powerful, who has not very powerful qualifications, that might or may outperform me. So that we need to, so adaptive skills or adaptive competencies, it is not that if you do not have technical skills, if you do not have uh, that background, then you will not be able to achieve success in that particular field. It is not so. Now in an interview, Elon Musk had said that he doesn't have very good knowledge of programming or coding, but he is having a knowledge that once a program or code is built by the team, how to market it, how to sell it. That is very important. So that is adaptive skill. And he has later on, he says that by observing them, I have learned many things in programming. I have learned many, say, small things required for programming. So that is adaptive. Adaptive is very important. The moment the manager says that I am there in the organization for the last 20 years, I know everything. For the last so many years, the strategies which have been implemented by me, all the strategies have become hit. So there is no need for any further improvement. That is the downfall of that organization as well as that manager. So every time you have to think open minded. Every time you have to be open for learning. Then only you will be able to adopt the get that adaptive skills. That is very important. So these are the three types of core competencies. Distinctive we had discussed in the yesterday's session. Next is the features, also we had discussed in the yesterday's session. So now we will move on to our next topic, and that is related to benchmark. So far, if you have not understood anything, you can unmute and you can directly ask me questions. I hope my voice is clear to all. Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Okay, okay, thank you. So if so far whatever we have discussed in terms of video, in terms of the types of core competencies, please go ahead. You can unmute and you can ask me question related to your doubt which you have not understood, or we will move on to the next point, which is called as benchmark. So benchmark is a standard against which something is compared, used to measure the performance of securities, mutual funds, exchange traded funds portfolios, or other investment opportunities. That is benchmark. Now, there are two types of benchmarking. One is the internal benchmarking and the external benchmarking. Now, benchmark is standard against which something is compared. That is called as benchmark. Now, for in every organization, when the performance evaluation is carried out by the company, that performance is compared against the standard set by the organization. And that is what benchmarking is. Now, for checking the performance of a person, the daily output of the person is recorded. And that daily output of the person is checked against the standards set by the organization. So, for example, if the standard set by the organization is 100 unit, 100 output shall be produced every day by the employee working at a particular level. So if 10 employees are working, all the performance of all the 10 employees are going to be compared with the performance standard or set by the organization. The organization has set what? 100 units to be produced by all the 10 employees. That is the standard set by the organization. Now, once the performance of entire day is over, then the calculations will be carried out. That out of 10, how many employees have attained that performance standard? That is the benchmark. So, how many employees are able to achieve the benchmark? How many have exceeded the benchmark? And how many are not able to achieve the benchmark? And that is called as benchmarking. So, benchmarking is a standard against which something is compared. So, here what is being compared? The benchmark has been set that these 10 employees working at this particular level, their production shall be on daily basis shall be this at this level, and all the 10 employees will be, their performance will be individually monitored, individually calculated, analyzed against that performance standard. That is called as benchmark, right? So that is the meaning of benchmark. Now we will move on to the next one, that is called as types of benchmarking. Now there are two types of benchmarking. One is called as internal benchmarking, the other one is called as external benchmarking. So internal benchmarking can be done with the help of SWOT analysis. Now SWOT analysis everyone is aware of. So at the time of our ETOP analysis, we had also discussed about the SWOT analysis. It talks about strength, weakness, opportunities, and threat of the organization as well as of the employees. So that is part of internal benchmarking, where this SWOT analysis is applied to check the strength, weakness, opportunity, and threat available for the organization. So that is one of the tool for internal benchmarking. Second tool for doing the internal benchmarking is best practice benchmarking. Best practice benchmarking is then when the performance standards are fixed. They are not changed as per the whims or wishes of the organization or the officials of the organization. It should not happen. For example, 10 employees are working. For 9 employees, the standard is 100 units. But for the 10th employee, who is very closely associated with the HR manager, for that particular person, the standard is not 100, the standard is 80 only. And the reason for the change is because of the the 10th person, the one of the person from the team of 10 is closely associated with one very influential person in the organization. So that is not that cannot be called as the best practice for benchmarking. So that partiality should not be there. That say uncertainty should not be there. Then only we can say that we can come up with a best practice of benchmarking. Next one is performance metrics. Performance metrics means that when we are evaluating the performance of the employee, we inform the employee. Generally, it is a norm, it is a rule, it is a guideline that whenever the company is going for performance evaluation, with the help of which the company will be promoting the people from within the organization. Now, performance metrics is that before the performance evaluation starts, the performance metrics should be known to all the employees of the organization. Performance metrics means that if the person is a salesman, that how much the how many times the salesperson is able to achieve the target, how many times the salesperson is able to exceed the target. So performance metrics is the matrix. That means that this will be your target. You have to sell these many products within a day, these many within a week, these many within a month. So that will be your target. And if you achieve, that is your performance metric. If you achieve your metric, then you will be getting either promotion or say increment or say bonus or monetary incentive. So the person should come to know about the performance matrix in advance. Then only the person is going to give his more than 100%. The salesman is aware that if I fulfill all the metrics, or if my performance exceeds as per these given metrics, I will be the person who will be promoted to the level of sales manager. So instead of sales executive, I will be promoted to the level of sales manager. So that is related to performance metrics. But again, the same thing is applied, that performance metrics should be fixed, they should be uniform, there should not be any partiality in deciding the matrix. For a close relative of general manager, the performance standard is that he should be selling in a day 8 electronic items. For others, they should be able to sell at least 12 electronic items. If that changes are there in the performance matrix, then benchmarking is not effective. And these performance metrics are to be informed, are to be communicated to the employees in advance for better results. So performance matrix. Then financial benchmarking. Financial benchmarking, again, these are not very difficult concept, very simple concepts which every company implements, every company is aware of. Now financial benchmarking is that company, for example, company is manufacturing, say, uh, electrical appliances. For many years, the company is into that manufacturing of electrical appliances. Now the company is aware that from this much of raw material, how many electric appliances can be manufactured, can be made. So financial, they can very easily calculate that this is the cost of input, and with the help of this much of input, we will be able to generate this much of sales or this much of amount. So that is financial benchmarking. Now once it is benchmarked, once it becomes in writing, then every time whenever that much of raw material is purchased by the company is aware that if we have purchased raw material worth this many rupees, that raw material is going to give us the result of these many rupees. And that is called as financial benchmarking. Functional benchmarking means where the role and responsibilities of the employees are written and they are communicated. Now these role and responsibilities are become part of SOPs. Now SOP, most of you are might be aware of the term SOP. Those who are working, definitely they are aware of this term SOP. So SOP is standard operating procedures, standard operating process, and that is called as functional benchmarking. Functional benchmarking, that this is how we need to function. For example, if a five-star hotel is there, now how a five-star hotel functions in terms of, so for example, you went to a five-star hotel and with your family, and you have ordered food for your family in the five-star hotel. Now the functions, that who will be taking the order, how the order will be taken, then how that order will reach the kitchen, how that chef will be preparing the dishes which you have ordered, how that prepared dish will be handed over to the waiter, and how that waiter will be delivering or will be placing those dishes on your table. Everything is benchmarked. Benchmark this means the functioning is written, standard operating procedure. For the five-star hotels are so precise that every menu or every dish, they have written down that if you want to prepare, say, a paneer tikka, now for one plate paneer tikka, or for say 1 kg paneer tikka, what masalas are to be used, that is also fixed. What should be the quantity of that masala, that is also fixed. For how many time that paneer should be marinated in that masala, that is also written, that is also fixed, and you cannot deviate yourself. Any chef, if even if a new chef joins the that five star, so first he is given that standard operating procedures, that this is how a particular dish is to be prepared. So you have to follow that instructions. You cannot make any changes on your own. For that, you need to take prior permission from your higher authorities. Then for how many time and at what, whether medium flame, low flame, or high flame, how that dish will be cooked, which you have ordered everything. And that is the example for functional benchmarking. What will be the role of HR manager? It is written down in the organization that you are supposed to perform the role, this 1 2 3 4 5 6. So these are all the roles. So even if the existing HR manager goes to some other organization, a new HR manager is coming from some other organization. So before taking charge or before giving the independent charge to the person, first the HR manager will be updated about the role and responsibility expected from him or her in the organization. And then he will be given independent charge of that particular position. And that is called as functional benchmarking. So these are the types of the internal benchmarking. Now we will move on to the next type, that is the external benchmarking. Now for external benchmarking, collaborative benchmarking. Now how one department is going to work in tune with the other department, how the finance department is going to work with the HR department, and HR department with the manufacturing department with the say marketing department, and marketing department with the sales department. So that is called as collaborative benchmarking, how one department is going to deal with the other department. Otherwise, what will happen? It may happen, if no collaborative benchmarking is there, it may happen that one department is not aware what the other department is doing. The purchase department has already ordered for raw material, and the purchase department is not aware that enough inventory is in stock in the organization. The products, the warehouse of the organization is full. So if the purchase department and the warehouse and the sales and the marketing, they are working in collaboration with each other, the purchase order, before giving the purchase order, the purchase manager will definitely check what is the inventory, or how much inventory is lying in the warehouse of the organization. And looking at that inventory, he will be giving more order or less order. He will change his order. And similarly, the other departments of the organization also, it is expected that everyone has to work in collaboration. The moment we say benchmarking, collaboration is when we are working in tune with others, when both, all the departments are working hand in hand in the organization. Every department is aware of the functioning of the other department. So we can expect better result uh, in that scenario than in the other scenario where one department is not aware what the other department is doing. In that, the results can be bad, or results can be poor. But if one department is aware what the other department is doing, results we can expect is better. That is collaborative. When we talk about benchmarking, we have already discussed that it is standards set by the organization, standards set. So everything is written. Organization writes it down. Why everything is written under SOPs in the organization? So that there is no deviation from the process. It should not happen that one manager uh, has left the organization, another manager has come from another organization. Now he will be coming or she will be coming with his or her mindset, her will, or whatever he or she has learned in the previous organization, and try to implement that knowledge in this organization. And the results can be good and the results can be bad. To avoid that, the benchmarking is used. That whatever you are doing, once the organization is aware that we came up with this particular strategy, and because of this strategy, we are able or we were able to achieve this much of target. So what they will be doing, they will write down the strategy, that this was the strategy which was implemented in the organization, and this is the result which we have achieved because of this particular strategy. Now next time, the organization will stick to that strategy. Why? Because they have, that is proven and tested. They have tested that strategy, they have got better results because of that strategy. Once your strategy is giving you result, why to deviate from that strategy? So that is why benchmarking is done. Next one is process benchmarking. Again, process, once the process is defined, that this will be the process which is to be followed by the organization, and it is benchmarked, it is written under SOP, you need to follow that one. And that is called as process benchmarking. For example, the company is manufacturing, say, electrical appliances or electronic products they are manufacturing. Now, how refrigerator is going to be manufactured? What will be the process of manufacturing a refrigerator? Now, that process is written down. Now, in process benchmarking, what happens is those people who are involved in manufacturing of refrigerator, they have to go through the process of manufacturing refrigerator, which is written in the organization, and they have to follow that process only. They cannot say change the process. So that is fixed. If the process says that when you are manufacturing a bike, make sure, electric bike, make sure that you are placing the battery in the bike at last. It is the benchmarking, process benchmarking written. Now here, no one can include or place the battery before the final that one employee feels that why to follow the benchmarking. So before putting the brakes in that particular bike, let's fix the battery in the bike. So that is not at all allowed. When we talk about process benchmarking, whatever stage, step one, you have to put this in that skeleton of bike, chassis of the bike. Stage 2, you have to add this in the chassis of the bike. Stage 3, you have to add this. Stage 4, stage 5, stage 6. So whatever stage dramatically which has been with the help of diagram, it has been explained under process benchmarking, that is to be followed as it is till that system is entirely changed. For example, new technology comes in, the entire process is to be changed, then new process will be designed, new process will be benchmarked, and new process will be followed within the organization. Till then, what has been finalized by the organization, it is to be followed by all the employees working in that particular department. And that is related to process benchmarking. So the remaining we will be discussing in the next session. That is tomorrow. We will be taking up the remaining types of external benchmarking. So thank you everyone for being present in today's session. Thank you again. We will be meeting tomorrow at same time, that is 7 p.m. So please be there tomorrow at 7 p.m.